everyone has this conception, I just want to clear up first of all, that in the universities, people think that the people that train there are not martial artists. They're just performance athletes, or they're just kickboxers like Sanda or whatever. But the truth is, all the Taolu performance specialists, they're all real Kung Fu guys. They know how to hold someone, they know how to break a joint. I mean, you can look at the biggest guy on the street who's never practiced martial art in his life, and you'll fear him. You'll fear him because of his size. And if you have no way of defending yourself from that individual, you'll cower. You'll run, or you'll try to pick up something big to hit him. But a Taolu guy, he has a better opportunity to defend himself because he's been training his speed. He can suddenly climb wicked buildings very quickly to get away just because of his athletic conditioning. And so to go to these places and to train like they do, just to gain their understanding of training, is a very valuable thing for any martial art. It doesn't matter any martial artist. It doesn't matter where you've gone in your life or what your experiences are so far. And I believe they are the hardest trained athletes in the world. I believe they are. And if they aren't, and if your displacement of conversation, or a more raw word would be argument, towards that statement I just made, then you just throw extra training in there. And the training they do at the moment is quite heavy. But if you put traditional Shaolin iron fist training in there, or traditional iron wire training, or leg training on top of their training, which I'm sure they don't give a crap about, but if you put that on the top of that training, then they become the hardest trained athletes in the world. So it's up to the individual once again. And to go to that institution in Chengdu, to compare it to Shanghai, to compare it to Beijing, it was just, at the time I heard they were the top 3 universities, and I wanted to check them out just to compare the level of athleticism, to see how fast the athletes were, etc., etc., etc. I went there because I walked into the professional team training area, where the current champion of Sichuan was training. And his name is Song Chaopeng, and he was a nice guy. And his training is quite good. And he's a pretty thick guy. His legs are like this big, and even his biceps are quite big. He's shorter than me. Maybe he's like, I don't know, 5'9" or something. He's a short guy, but he's super huge, man. And you wouldn't believe he could jump so high. But yeah, he can jump pretty high, and I bet he could kick faster than millions of other practitioners out there. So that was impressive. As for the regular training in the sports university, it's all mixed. There's beginners, there's average people, there's super advanced people. The people that are super advanced, once again, they don't care. They're just thrown on the carpet, told to train, and they don't really love it that much. But you do get the 1 or 2 diamonds in the rough that love it more than life itself. And that's nice to see them and train with them. In Ermeishan is a mountain, which is one of China's top famous mountains. There's a lot of Kung Fu apparently there, and there is. It's just that they're closer to the farming side of life than the modern side of life, and so they don't really take foreigners too much. They're very serious dudes. They do the neck qigong, they do all that kind of stuff all day, every day. They just do qigong on the mountain all day, every day. They're hardcore. They're smashing bricks, like 10 bricks, they'll break the bottom brick with an iron slap. They're hardcore dudes, but that kind of dedication is exempt from foreign influence. You're not allowed to get in there. It's called closed door teaching or martial art training, and so you're just not allowed in there. I made it on TV there. I did a demonstration for the Sichuan martial art organization, which I helped organize. And the chairman of Sichuan International Wushu Federation threw me in there with all these other traditional guys, and I represented Australia. He called it Ao Tren. He said I was the Ao Tren master from Australia. That's funny. Ao Tren doesn't exist. It's a made-up form of Kung Fu, but everyone believed it. They're from the farm. Yeah, so it was pretty funny. Anyway, I did an aerial cartwheel and it made it on news, 8 o'clock. So that's what happened in Sichuan. Well, of course, the famous Shishahai is here, and that was always a cross. I wanted to cross that off, or tick that off. Tick is probably a more positive word to use. And there's also the Beijing Tiyushuan, and a lot of very cool, famous people in Chinese Kung Fu history are here. So I decided better come to Beijing where there's more masters, more teachers, and Kung Fu is a more prominent factor here. You can find traditional teachers anywhere, but you know, I found one guy, but that's another story. He was the teacher for the mafia, actually, and there was a funny story about him wanting me to become his son and signing an ancient traditional scroll. Yeah, that was pretty hardcore. So I got out of there and came to Beijing. When we arrived here, you know, you really have to take things into consideration, such as where to live and how to make money and things like that. And so I've been trying to really focus on that. And then after being here for a couple of weeks or whatever, I had a rough time because I caught pneumonia transitioning from Sichuan to Beijing, and it was a little bit rough. And the moving itself took some time, and when your Chinese is not up to scratch, so yeah, there was problems, and I was a little bit stressed at that time. It was a stressful time, and I was worrying very much about just finding a good place to live and affording that. And then out of the nowhere, a casting agent heard about me in Ermei, in going around the village area. And coming back to the city, I met a girl. She dropped my name in Hong Kong, and then some guy that I've been wanting to even talk to for 5 years contacted me, which was a blessing. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm told to hold off on work and that I should do a movie with Yao Huaping and Keanu Reeves.